Hey, what's going on? I'm Chris Orzechowski from theemailcopywriter.com. And today, what I want to share with you is where you can find email copywriting clients for your email copywriting business. And I want to break down a few opportunities that I've seen this year in 2022 that I think are getting more popular and that I think are going to continue to grow in importance. So let's get into it. Okay, so the real reason I'm making this video is because I have so many copywriters who reach out to me on a weekly basis, sometimes even a daily basis, and everyone's like, hey, I'm prospecting, I'm doing manual cold outreach, nothing's happening, I can't get any clients, there's no clients, where are the clients? Do these people exist? Is this a real thing? I'm here to say yes. There are clients out there. Yes, they do exist. Yes, they are real people. Yes, this is possible. But if that's your only approach, if you're just doing cold email stuff, which, I think if you're new, I don't think it's the best approach. It doesn't mean it won't work. It can work, but it's tougher if you're newer for a number of reasons that I've covered in some other videos here on my channel. But there's just much easier ways to get to the money than spraying and praying hundreds of cold emails. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So the first place that you can find clients in 2022, where there's a ton of opportunities, are on job boards. Now, whenever I say the word job, people freak out a little bit, right? They're like, ooh, no, I don't want a job. Don't want to go on a job board. I'm not looking for a job. I'm a freelancer. I'm a copywriter. Don't want a job. Totally understand that. And I'm the same way. But what a lot of people don't understand is that on job boards, you won't just find regular 9-to-5 W-2 jobs. I mean, yeah, sure, you'll find some of those. You'll find copywriting opportunities like that, and sometimes for actually really good companies. But in addition to those W-2 positions, something else that you'll find a lot of remote work opportunities, part-time opportunities, freelance opportunities, gig contract type opportunities, right? And there's tons of sites out there. Like, I remember when I was working for a few clients as like their in-house copywriter, again, as a contractor, but kind of like in this quasi-employee, quasi-contractor role, there were times when we would look for additional writers to join the team. And sometimes I would make introductions to people in my network, but they would also cast a wider net by going to job boards. And a couple times, some of these clients that I was working with, when they wanted to expand the team, they would go to sites like Indeed.com and Monster.com and actually post a job listing to look for other writers. And I'm talking like big direct response savvy publishers, people selling digital products, people selling e-commerce products, right? Not like the typical companies you might think. And whenever I tell people this, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know companies like that actually post on those kind of sites, and they do all the time. All you need to do is just do a little bit of searching with your search bar on these sites. You can find a ton of opportunities. You can probably find hundreds of opportunities. Now, will all of them be good? Probably not. But if you go to Indeed.com, Monster.com, if you go to Craigslist even, I had a buddy of mine who would flip full-time job opportunities that he found on Craigslist. He would flip them into retainers, right? He would have a conversation and say, hey, basically, you can pay me as a W-2 employee, but I'll probably save a lot of money if you just hire me as a contractor, and you probably don't need a full-time employee for what you're trying to do. And again, it's not going to work with every single client, but he was able to successfully do this and land multiple 4-figure, sometimes 5-figure retainers from these opportunities on Craigslist. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just got to go looking for it. But the thing is, no one ever wants to go there. No one ever wants to go on a job board because they're scared of getting a job. Here's the thing. You don't have to work at a job. And even if you do take a gig where you're working long-term with 1 or 2 clients, you could do that for 12 months till you build up your skills to where you have those skills and core competencies. So that way, when you do go freelance, you have a portfolio, you have a book, you have confidence, you have skills, you have results that you could speak to. Hey, I worked for this company for the past 12 months. Here's all the things that I've done. And this is why I think I'm confident that I could do the same thing for your company too. Imagine having that conversation with the next client you talk to. Right? That only happens when you have that experience. And if all you're doing is cold emailing people and never getting any yeses, you're not going to have that experience. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. One last job board that you should check out, copychief.com. That is a job board. Well, it's more than a job board. They have a very robust job board, but it's a full-scale membership site. My mentor, Kevin Rogers, runs that. And I joined back in 2015 and have been a member ever since and absolutely transformed my life. But places like copychief.com have amazing job boards. They're super plugged into some of the best direct response companies out there. Definitely something to check out. Number 2 is networking. So your network is always going to have a ton of copywriting opportunities that are just one ask away, right? Literally one ask, one email, one message to someone in your network, and you can have a copywriting job like that. People think, well, I don't have a big network, or I don't have a plugged in network. And it's funny because when I started, I didn't have a big network too, right? Like no one knew who the hell I was. And even now, like I built a name for myself, but there's still tons of people who don't know who I am, right? But I still get clients all the time from my network. And the reason why is because I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to have conversations. I'm not afraid to tell people what I'm looking for. My first ever client that someone actually, it was actually a free gig. I didn't get paid any money, but someone actually asked me to write something for them, came from a guy who owned a business who went to the same high school that I did. He was a few years older than me, right? But we were friends on Facebook. He had a business. He saw that I was getting into copywriting. He said, hey, I need some help with some Amazon product descriptions. Can you do that? I said, yeah, absolutely. I said, and tell you what, I'm not going to charge you anything. Let me work on this for you. Let me do it for you for free, get you a good result. All I ask is that you introduce me to 3 people who also might need a copywriter, right? Because the referrals were more valuable and the acquisition of new clients at that point was more valuable for me than getting $100 or whatever I might have been able to charge at that point in my career. I didn't care about the money at that point. I said, I just need experience at this point. So that's what I did. That was a guy from my high school. And even nowadays, I'm 9 years into this business, almost on year 10, and I still have people, guys I went to college with, right? People that I know from college, from high school, from my network, from my hometown, people I know who have businesses, who have started businesses, or who work for big companies. Maybe they work in marketing, maybe they work in a different department, and they hear what I do, and they say, actually, we might need help with that, with the email marketing stuff at my organization. And I get clients that way too. And there's no reason that you can't do the same. I'm not anyone special, right? You know people know who you are. Unless you're a hermit and you live in a cave and no one's seen you in 10 years, they don't even know that you're alive, which, if you're watching this video, you have an internet connection. That's probably not the case. But assuming that you've talked to anyone in the past 12 months, right, you probably have someone in your network where you can kind of just do some expeditions and see if there's anyone out there who might need your skill set or who knows someone who could use your skill set. The third place I want to tell you to look is in your inbox. So if you are following a lot of people in your industry, right? I remember when I was working with a lot of online course creators and digital product creators, I had an email address where all I did was sign up for people in that industry and other industries that I like to follow. I like to learn from their emails. I signed up for their email lists. And every now and then, every week, I would go in the search box, I'd type hiring copywriter, or the word copywriter, and I'd look to see what came up. Because I'd get hundreds of emails every single week. And lo and behold, there would be companies whose email list that I signed up for, when they were looking to hire someone, yeah, they might post on Indeed or these other places, they might go to their networks, but they also send those opportunities out to their email list. This happens all the time. So again, it's not something you can directly control, but you'd be surprised if you're on a few hundred lists, how often they're sending out people, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 people in a given week might be sending out an opportunity looking to hire a copywriter. So something else to keep in mind. The fourth way to get clients is going to live events. Now, if you go to these big industry events, you're bound, if you talk to anyone, you're probably going to meet someone who's a potential client, right? Like as long as you don't stay in your hotel room and lock the door and refuse to show your face, like as long as you're out there being social, talking to people, meeting people in between sessions and those kind of things, like you're going to just stumble into people who might become clients. And the great thing about events is that you have a high know, like, and trust factor if you look them in the eye and shake their hand, and you actually see them in person, see that they're a real person. They see that you're a real person. You might gel, right? You might have a good vibe with them. You might have a good relationship that gets formed that continues on after that event is over. Now, a lot of writers, copywriters are introverts, so they're like, oh, that sounds a little bit scary, but it doesn't have to be a big event, right? It could be a local event. It could be a local business meetup, right? It could be a 10-person event. It could be a private mastermind. There's always ways where you can get into the same room as people who might become your clients. The fifth and final strategy that I'm going to give you are getting into private groups. So again, if you're an introvert, you're especially going to love this one, because just like live events, if you're in the same room, it's very easy to meet people who might become a client. If you are in a paid group, a paid membership community like a copychief.com, or like Austin Bronner has one for e-commerce called the Coalition, which is a great community that I'm in. And there's tons of other ones. People who have paid memberships, maybe they have a $49 or $99 or $199 a month membership, or a $5,000 a year group, which obviously you're not going to join a ton of those, but maybe if you find one that can be really, really beneficial, you pony up the money and join, because you get plugged into a network of people who've also gone, they're also at a certain level if they're getting past that criteria to get in. But it's great when you can get into an opportunity where you are the only copywriter in there in a group. Like if you are in a group with all course creators and you're the only copywriter in there, who are they going to go to when they need a copywriter? They're going to go to you because you're in that room and they trust you and they've interacted with you within that private closed door community. So I like to look for communities where there's a high barrier to entry, where it's not too high. Like, I don't want to join $10,000, $25,000 a year mastermind. Like, that's just crazy. It's overkill. It's so much money. Although I'd probably still make, a good ROI if I were to do that, but it's way too much. But if you found one good group that's maybe like a $99 a month membership group where there's a lot of your ideal clients hanging out and learning from the person who runs that group, you could go into that group, learn, get a valuable education, get your money's worth that way, and also maybe pick up a client or two. As long as you're cool. Again, you don't want to just be cold messaging people and being bothersome and being weird and annoying. You don't want to be that person. So as long as you're cool in there, as long as you build good relationships, you're bound to get flooded with clients. So the cool thing about these strategies is all these strategies are working very well in 2022. I think they're going to continue to work well. If you have other strategies that you've used to get clients, drop them below in the comments. I want to hear what you've been doing. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit that little bell so you get notifications when new videos come out. I got some good stuff planned. Make sure you hop on my list. Go to theemailcopywriter.com. Grab a copy of my book, Make It Rain. You're going to love it. It's going to teach you how to write emails that sell. And that's it. See you soon.